was asked to interview this young man, at first I said, no, he can't play the piano very well. No, I didn't say that. I said, yes, I would love to do that. Because this story is an incredible story. There are many, many incredible and horrible stories. I think, this is one of the most astounding stories I've ever heard of, and one of the greatest books I've ever read. I encourage you all to read this book and to look at this young man on YouTube, but you can look at him now in person for a short period of time. So I'm going to just ask a few questions, not of you. Tell me, so you're growing up in Syria. You're growing up, but you're Palestinian. Your family's Palestinian. So you're growing up in Yarmouk, and you're leading a normal life. Even though we know the Syrian regime has been in place for many, many years and is an oppressive regime, you're basically dealing with it. You're living with it. You're going to school. You're studying piano. And suddenly, 8 years ago, everything changes. Can you just give the kids a sense of what your life was like a little bit before the siege?
First, thank you for being here, and thank you to come. And I don't like these kids. I am kids. We are great friends. Will you accept me for to be friend? Big pleasure. The situation in Yarmouk, it was, we live with what happened in Syria. We live with the regime, and it was normal life with not a lot of politics. You don't allow to speak free. You are not allowed to tell nothing about the secret police or looks like, because the wall have ear. We know this. But we go in the school. I study in the music school for 10 years, and after these 10 years I go to the university and I study classical music. But it's everything's a change in 2012. The people demonstrate in the streets, and the people fighting for some more freedom, for changing at least the burgomaster. This is June. The mayor, to change the mayor in Homs or in Daraha, or to have somebody guilty from the secret police to make him guilty. You know, looks like some secret police in Daraha. They catch some children and take off the nails of him. This has happened only 8 years ago in 15 March 2011. And the people need only small changes. But the government was more strong, killing everybody in the street. And it's beginning to change war and international war. A lot of groups coming to Syria and fighting.
Did you think when people started to revolt, when people started to say, we want things to change, did you feel like it could happen, that change would happen because of what had happened in other parts of the Arab world?
We think it will be happen like what happened in Egypt. You know, the Mubarak is leave, and we have in Tunisia also he is leave, the guy, and now also in Algeria. After 8 years in Syria, they say for him, look to Syria, learn from Syria, don't demonstrate in the street. But we have thousands and millions of Algerian people getting in the street. And I think in Syria, every time that what the government tell Syria, it's different. Be careful, Syria is different. But when you see the army killing everybody in the street and the blood everywhere, we have in one day more than 85 demonstrating people dying in one day, you know. This is every day happen for more than 1 year and a half, and the people explode. You kill me, I will kill you. It's begins like this, and we begin with this Freedom Syrian army, and I think the weapon, it's bring weapon, and this is the hate bring hate, and I don't think that the people, the educated people going in the revolution in the early morning, we get out from the university and we demonstrate in Homs. The people don't have any thought it will end with catastrophe what we have.
So basically the siege continues, the oppression becomes worse and worse, and people start to leave, and they go to Damascus, or they go wherever, but it's very hard to get out of the country, so they go to Damascus. And you just told me that basically now Damascus has 4 million people in a city that's really designed for about 500,000 people. You chose, and your family chose, to stay in Yarmouk. And can you explain why? And then give them a sense of what then happened, because you didn't leave.
The things I try to stay in Syria or in Yarmouk, because where I will go to Damascus. I don't have nobody living from my relative in Damascus, and I should to leave all my shop, all the instruments in Yarmouk, and go. And it's maybe we think it was my decision to stay, and all the family stay because me. And we think it will be protect me because I don't need to go to the army, and they will catch me to put me in the army because I was shortly finished the university and I should to be in the age 22 going to the army, and I don't go. And we think it will be protect me, and it's me 5, 6, 7 days, and it will be fine enough again, and it will be maybe getting worse, but it will begin fine. But we don't understand how we'll begin hell more down. And it's begin with a siege. We begin with 3 people dying from hunger, 5 people, 10 people, and we end with 200 people, and we end with dying from hunger. Yeah. Yes, I don't eat for 6 days, 7 days, and we drink salt water. And the children, they sing with me in the video, they suffering the faces. You can read about Yarmouk camp where these thousands of people coming waiting the box from food. We are not poor people, but when you put any people under siege and under occupied in this way, they will fight for half kilo rice or for glass of sugar.
So you were in your book. You talk about eating grass and cats. And clover. Yellow clover, is that what it was? Yeah. And you would mix that with, for some reason you had a lot of lentils. Was it lentils? Red lentils, I think?
I made falafel.
You made falafels from it. You came up with a recipe and you were selling them on the streets. But then eventually that ended because there wasn't even enough. So your wife then gets pregnant. You decide to have another child during this time. She has a child, and she's with child, and she's basically eating grass and water. You didn't even have firewood, did you?
No.
You're boiling. You're burning plastic bottles to create a fire to make grass soup. Basically, is what you ate. For how long did that go on?
Wow. Tahani, I think we are very open-minded, me and Tahani, and we decide together to have a child. I don't decide because I know it's very dangerous. But she said for me we should to complete the life, and I would like have after Ahmad 2 years, I would like to have another child. She has a plan to have every 2 years a child. And we plan together. I do not feel guilty because I planned it. But I say for her, when we have the child, you should to get out from Yarmouk to Damascus. But she say, I will stay with you. And this is very, very, very big statement for me. Until now, I feel guilty because she stay with me. And I feel how it's wonderful and nice friend and lady. You know, I love Tahani. Not because she is my wife, she is really big fighter for the life, because she stay with me, and she say for me, I will not leave you. We live together in the good time, and we will stay together in the bad time. And it's so horrible with grass, and you know we don't have meditation for she opened the cesarean, and we don't have. Normal operation. The man he's doing these things for him, he's not doctor, and also the man he fixed my finger, he was carpenter. Yeah, and it's really crazy, and everything going well. I still can play piano with a carpenter, and I go to Berlin, and he say for me, absolutely, you don't can move your finger. How you can move it? And it was carpenter. He is only 6 months. See somebody to see, and he say for me, usually we cut the finger. No, don't cut my finger. I play piano. I am not falafel. And he say for me, I am carpenter. I am not doctor. Yeah, but it's look, it's wonderful, fine, nice, you know. Yes, it's really, and honey, I think I believe with karma. I don't believe anymore with God anymore, you know, because after what happened, it's really horrible. But I think this is good karma from children because they sing together and all this beautiful community karma. It's come back to me and to my family. You know, it's a protect me, protect my son, Kinan. He is moving, looks like crazy now. We have too much energy. You don't can't catch him. You know, he's 4 years now. You know, and he is. When I look to him, how he's moving and speaking and building his new community in Germany, Ahmad and Kinan. Oh my God, absolutely. He was small boy and become climb and small and smaller and oh my God. And it's come back again to life, and this is what I need to tell.
But this is when you're talking about the children singing. So one of the things you did, in order to survive, you did what you had to do to survive physically, but you did something to survive spiritually and emotionally, and to help your fellow citizens of Europe survive emotionally, and that was taking a piano, putting it on a rolling cart, taking it out into the streets, and playing it every day. And at first, what was the response? And then tell us how things changed.
First time, it was the idea from somebody to make group, and I'm very sorry I speak with the mister and I don't speak in these great faces. Sorry. Yeah. But it's respect to speak in faces. Sorry. Oh, yes, it's how. Yes. Yeah, and it's begin with the group, and man, he's coming in my falafel shop, and I make falafel. And he said for me, I have nice idea. We make group 2 years before with you, and you are the chief to teach us some music, and we sing, and it's unpolitic. And I said, really, it's unpolitic? Who will bring the gasoline for the benzene to make the motor working to play keyboard? And he said for me, don't worry, somebody who will support us. And this is the first idea to play music. And suddenly I carrying my keyboard from Cork and go there. I need electricity, and we have motor and working. First day, second day, third day. Have something strange here. I say for him, it's really not politic. And he say, yes, it's not political, and I understand in the end it's a group from Palestinian group. You know, I am Palestinian guy, but I don't like the Palestinian politics, not Hamas, not Fatah, not nobody, you know. I like to be free with my music. And I say for him, no, I will not complete. My piano don't need electricity. I will take my piano, and with the roller from my uncle, he puts the rice and he sell it in the street, and I will put it all together, and any guy who would like to come with me, come with me. And we make a small group in the street, and we begin. First month, second month, and people come more and more to hear the music. And begin the guys, they say, we should to have support. We should to have some money. We should to bring the water for our family. And the music take a lot of time of the day, 3 or 4 hours. And we don't have really this time. And begin the guys disappear one by one. You know, and I found myself alone in the street, but it was not alone. I was with a lot of young people. And it's in 2014 when I play piano in the street, and I have the idea after this to play with the children. And this was the nicer time in my life, and I feel I still can, when I looks like this to the space, I remember how they smile and say for me, yeah, we need to play music, and how they know it by heart, you know, and how they really suffering from hunger, tired, don't have any more energy, but would like to sing with me. And I love this energy and this karma.
Right. And there was a day, it's one of the most difficult parts of your life and one of the most difficult things to read in the book, which is one day you didn't want to play any longer. You were tired, you were depressed, and I was hopeless.
Yeah.
And some kids came to you and were shouting outside your window, one in particular, saying, please, come on, let's play the piano. And you said, I don't want to. And they convinced you to finally do it. And that day, one of those girls was killed by a sniper. And it could have been anyone who was killed, but it happened to be that one girl, the girl who really wanted to sing with you that day. I just silly question to say I know, I can only imagine how you felt about that. And it's the randomness of the killing and of the torture and of I think the experience as a whole that is in some ways the most devastating, it seems, from what you say in the book, that there's no rhyme or reason to it.
I'm until now thinking about this moment, and I say it's not my decision in this day to go on the street and the play, to not feel guilty, because already I feel super guilty after what's happened. And it was not really my decision to go to this street, but she say my grandmom, she is living in this street and we should to make video for her. Zainab, she is so amazing girl, 12 years old. She have full energy. I described how she's coming every time. I need to make rap. I need to make music, and it's like this. And how she is really energetic. She was only sitting near the piano. And you know, when I remember this day, and I can tell you how I feel directly, I can see you know, when the sniper shoot her, all the blood is coming here in my face. Hot and horrible. It's really horrible. And every time when I remember this day, I close my eyes and I see everything should happen in the same day. And every time when I say, please read all the book, but don't read this part in the concert because I have trauma.
Yeah.
But it was not my guilt. I ask myself now, myself against myself. Tell me it's not my guilt, but it was my guilt. And I should to live with this. I don't know how. I should to go to somebody mind therapy or some things to get out from this. But this is happening everywhere in Syria, and I try to mention this story about this small child because yesterday we have 9 child killed under bombing in Idlib. From who it's not important, but they kill under bomb, and it's still going on after 8 years.
And yes, it's still going on after 8 years. The international community is confused, I guess, as to what to do. That's a polite way of saying it. And there's no end in sight, really, is there? You don't know when it's going to end. I think one of the things that is really important for people to know, and you and I were talking about this before, is that a lot of people, refugees are in some ways presented as people who want to leave their homes, who want to come into another country and sort of take all the good jobs and take all the, and just sort of sponge off the government. When in fact, and you can attest to this, refugees are refugees because they're in a place and they're suffering. And that place that they're in is their home. They don't want to leave their home. They don't want to come here. You don't want to live in Germany. And unfortunately, governments, and we see the political right growing and growing and growing more every year, vilifying refugees and acting as though they are, and my government, the American government, is doing it in particular. And it's very, very disturbing. The fact that Germany was as welcoming, took in over 1 million refugees, it's just astounding. How do you feel now as a refugee in your new home? Because it is your home now.
I all refugees in Syria, and I have big respect from the Syrian community, how they treat us. And I am now a refugee also in Germany, and I have big respect from the German community, how they treat us. I don't have any dream to be in Europe, and I can tell you when I still have my shop and my work, I will stay in my home, doing what I will do, teach music or doing some things. The refugee is not bad and not good, but we have refugee because we have weapon selling from this big country to the third world country. We have America selling a lot of weapon, Russia selling a lot of weapon, Turkey selling a lot of weapon, Europe selling a lot of weapon. And when you need to stop the refugee, please stop selling weapon. This is very easy, because it's circle. I can tell you about some things. Let's back in the Second War. The Nazi killing the Jewish. 7 million people killed in the Second War. The Jewish going to Palestine, building Israel, big respect for the both sides. My grandfather gets out and be refugee in Syria. Begin the war in Syria, I am in Germany. Circle, Yeah. And when somebody coming from AfD, you should go back to your country. And he's coming from Poland anyway. He is not 100% German. His grandfather coming after the Second War from Poland. I don't can understand this. I am here in Germany. I don't have money from the States. I pay all my tax. Half of my income I pay tax, and I'm so happy, so glad to give back to the government. This is mean good economy for the government. Yeah. We have 300,000 refugees working in Germany, and this is so nice for Merkel. She said, "We schaffen das." She gave a lot of things. We will make it. She said, "We schaffen das." This is mean we will make it. She gave a lot of chance to a lot of family to live again, and now 350,000 workers, new, fresh, working in the German community. And the German get old and older and older, and we need people to work. Yeah. And do because a lot of country asking for new worker, and the good worker begin thinking about, I will go to Australia or to Germany or to America. They have a lot of decision. But you have the refugee, you teach him for 6-month integration course, he will begin speaking German. I learn English, I don't can read and write English. I learn English in the street, wallahi, in 2016. Never I speak no word in Syria English, and I learn English. Imagine when I speak German. The 6 months and begin the refugee working, washing glass outside, cleaning bathroom, but we need to work, we don't need to sit with the state, and this is good for the both sides. Right. You give me chance to leave, and I back the money to the country, and you know how the system in Europe is working. I work, I pay tax, and it's around, and I don't think it's bad. But Islamophobia, it's very bad, and we built it from Afghanistan time, Islamophobia, and now we have a big horrible problem. What happened, And terror, it's not mean refugee. Terror, it's not mean religious. Terror, it's terror. This is guy, 3 days ago, he's killing all these people in the mosque. I can't tell he is Muslim or Christian. He's only terrorist. IS the same. Assad the same. Yeah, and I don't think the refugee disturbing the country. I think the country, each other, they have big problem with each other. And they found each other with, it looks like Italy maybe have problem with Europe. Spain have problem with Europe. And they found, this is shitty African people coming by boat, it's the problem. Italy take a lot of European money to care with these people coming from Africa. And it's not going to the African people. The African people living looks like a present in Milano. And they don't get nothing, And they don't register anyway. And we give a lot of money for Erdogan, and we give European country giving a lot of money for Libya and Tunisia to stop all the people there, and they put him in the prison. What, this is human rights? Oh my God. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's very important topic. What I see, and when you read the international news, every time they speak about IS, But the international, not the international community, the international politic, they support dictators. Really. You know, looks like we speak about I am in Germany and we speak about this in Germany. How Germany supports Saudi and Arabic, you know, to kill the Yemeni. We don't understand this. They give him weapon, you know. And how America supports Saudi and Arabic and they know what they do, you know. But big countries, but I believe in the community. I don't speak about international community because I'm so happy I can reach you today to speak blah blah blah. I don't know. When you believe it, believe it. When you don't believe it, I'm so happy. You know? But it's very, very important. We need to reach community in the human level. Out from religion, I am not believer, my friend, anymore. Yeah, I born Muslim, but I don't believe. My name I am Ahmad, and I am sure I am not believe. I believe with people, with the human. And this is very, very important. We speak about not believing, not under believing, not under. We speak about human rights. Human rights. This is international law, and this is why we come to Germany. Why we don't speak? Why we don't sit in Turkey? Because I think it's in Turkey. Maybe it's good, but it's not really human rights. You know, but it's really complicated. And refugee here because the big country. Your country here, or America, or Russia, doing very horrible things in the Middle East. Let's back to the 1942. We have English colony in what we would like to call it, Israel, Palestine, up to you. We have English colony there. We have a French colony in Syria for 25 years. I don't tell you it's bad, also was good. But we have French colony, English colony, we have German colony somewhere, we have Dutch colony, you know, and this is coming back to Europe. So, and also we have a new American colony in Afghanistan. What the American done in Afghanistan or in Iraq? Oops! If we don't found atom bomb, huh? Wallahi, we don't found atom bomb. Yeah. You know, they have microscope. He can see everything, you know. And then, oops, wonderful, oops. It's take 5 million euro of oil and.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I just want to ask about the timing of today. What's is it? Do you want to?